Hey y'all. Uh-oh. I'm a little slow today. All right. If you're out there, say hello. Hey Harriet. It's gonna be quick today because I have roll-in tonight. So I ain't gonna be able to rant and rave and go on. Harriet says, what's the tea, sis? Shayna, yes, let's talk about it. I'm waiting for a couple more people to get on though. My first lady is black. Rakia, hey. Garrett, Deshaun, Golda, Courtney. Y'all here? Okay, okay. Got home from the grocery store. Matt Gates got a whole ass son. How? Reese. That situation got messy real quick. Real messy. Y'all been following that Matt Gates stuff? Hey Ray. You know he was trying to Colestein. Okay, I've been saying it wrong all this time. Colestein. Colestein. Hey Ted Mao. Who else did I miss? Ray. I think I said Ray. Just information. Samuel. Today is not gonna be all that spicy, child, because I really ain't got too much time to get into it. I really don't. I really don't. But you know, he showed his whole ass yesterday at the hearing with Cedric Richmond. Hey Resistance. Robin. Talking about what if we had a black son or what if we had a son that wasn't white. Then he turned around and post his picture today. To me, it looked like a grown ass man, but he said he's 19 years old, talking about, oh, this is my son. Okay, but then there are videos of you calling him your helper and all kind of stuff. So which is it, boo? I'm confused, but it's getting real messy. It's getting real messy. I feel uncomfortable with the direction that it's headed in because it's sketchy. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. I called him. I was like, oh, okay, what is this about? But you know what? You know how these Republicans do. They got some real funky foul shit going on. So I'm gonna leave it alone. Hey Nicole, Kim, Mary, Matt, General, Tiffany, Elizabeth, Darion. Yes, he did. Cedric Richmond did ate that. He ate that ass up. That whole was did that hit a nerve? Was that a nerve? I love that. I'm gonna have to use that. Was that a nerve? Brooke, Keith, Leon, Sire, Pam, Andre. Okay, I think I got everybody for the most part. All right, let me just start off with this. So y'all follow me on Twitter. Y'all probably saw that. So this Twitter person, Elizabeth, had put out retweeted this one person saying you know, she would debate this dude. And so I was like, I'll debate you, but let's have a conversation about Elizabeth Warren because that's who you support as well. And Roland Martin, you know Roland Martin lives for this kind of shit, yeah. So he went on ahead and retweeted it, and he said he would moderate. So she responded. She finally responded, and you know she was trying to. I don't know what she was trying to do, Jay. I don't know if she was trying to be clever or whatever. I don't know her tone. It's not impressive to me. But anyways, she wants to debate only on one small portion, which is she wants to debate on Kamala's police accountability record. Now, I don't have a problem with Kamala's police accountability record because we could talk about the racial profiling and racial advisory profiling board. We could talk about the 21st century policing working group that Kamala established. We could talk about a variety of things. But my whole thing is this is what they always try to do. They always try to create this very narrow issue for the past 3 years. They've always tried to have the conversation solely on the cherry pick things that they want to have a conversation on, where they feel it disadvantages Kamala. Because they understand that a conversation about how they sit up there and be like, well, Kamala should have done this, Kamala should have done that. What law was she authorized to do that under? What jurisdiction did she have? Anybody can pick out a case here, a case there. There were 20,000 cases a year in San Francisco when Kamala was DA. So, okay, what we gonna do? You gonna find one that's inflammatory? Anybody can do that. But she was Attorney General. Okay. Cop shot people. So that's Kamala's fault? Kamala, what was she supposed to do exactly? Where was the power vested in her to do anything more than what she did. When California just passed legislation just this year, I believe it was either this year or late last year, on policing accountability. But you want to have a very narrow conversation. Kamala Harris has been a criminal justice since 2004. Why you only want to talk about one little itty bitty piece of it? But you don't want to talk about her justice and policing it. You don't want to have no parts of that. You just want to sit up there and cherry pick a case here, cherry pick a case there. No, let's talk about it all. I'm very interested in a well-rounded conversation. If you're capable of that, I'm interested in that. I'm also interested in the alternative. Because you would ride or die for Elizabeth Warren, so let's talk about her record. Let's talk about it. Now that's not a conversation you want to have. I said I would love to debate Kamala's record. Let's debate it. Criminal justice is a very broad topic. That's a fair topic. That's like me saying, well, I want to talk about all the people that Kamala Harris put in for rape. Who wants to have a conversation that narrow? Let's have a broad conversation. Let's talk about criminal justice. If your life's work, what you're working on, is bail reform, let's have a conversation about the fact that Kamala Harris introduced the Pretrial Integrity and Safety Act in 2017 with Rand Paul that was endorsed by 40 civil rights organizations. Let's talk about her bail reform efforts in the Senate. Let's talk about that. But nobody want to have a conversation about her record. They only want to have a conversation about a couple of hand-picked cherry things. Well, you could do that in a tweet. What do I need to engage with you on? Let's have a conversation. Let's have a real back and forth. Let's have a real in-depth, substantive conversation about her record. That's all that I've asked from any of these people. I can do it. Can you? Anyway, that's enough for that. Come holler at me. I'm available. I told Roland I'm off tomorrow. Let's have a conversation about her record, and let's have a conversation about Elizabeth Warren's record. Because it don't make sense to only have a quote unquote what you think is going to be a rag on the Kamala Harris section. Let's have a conversation about the two leading contenders for the VP position, which is Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. Let's have that conversation. If you only want to have a conversation about criminal justice, we can do that. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to have a conversation on the economy, we can do that. If you want to have a conversation on environmental justice, we can do that. I have receipts and everything. Let's have a conversation. Let's not have well, she didn't prosecute this person. She didn't prosecute that person. Well, I thought she was an abolitionist. I'm confused. What you want, accountability? I don't want accountability. Somebody help me out here. Make it make sense. But anyway, moving the fuck along. Moving along. Come holler at me about, we can pick one broad topic. Was that a nerve? We could pick one broad topic. And we could talk about two people. You went all in, swinging on Elizabeth Warren since 2012. So you should be well versed. You said you've been tweeting about Kamala since 2012. I looked up the tweets. I do my research. It was a lot of hate for a long time. I don't know what Kamala, I don't know why she's triggered you. I don't know what your problem is with her. But you seem to have all the answers for the past 8 years. 8 years ain't enough time to talk about more than just one narrow topic. Come on. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a real conversation. That's all I'm saying. Let's have a real conversation. Anyways. Let's talk about DACA. So the Supreme Court actually came through and came through for DACA. And I think that is absolutely amazing, spectacular work that they did. I know this is something now, y'all know Kamala has been on this for a very, very, very long time. And the Supreme Court came through yesterday with what they're ruling in terms of not being able to discriminate based on your sexuality and that part. And then, today they came through on DACA. That's amazing news. And I don't know if you guys saw that, Kamala went to the Supreme Court and she, made some remarks there. She took pictures with some of the people that were protesting. And I definitely want to highlight, go back to my tweet earlier. She has done so much work on immigration. She's done a lot of work on DACAs, and one of her earlier bills was introducing a bill so that DACA recipients or people who are DACA eligible could actually work in Congress. That was something that was not allowed by law for them to do. So that's the kind of stuff that she's been involved in. She's been involved in many things. Also, she if I'm not mistaken, I saw this a little bit earlier, but she actually brought an undocumented black DACA recipient. A lot of people just think of DACA and they think Latino, but DACA is not a one single race, because we have immigrants from all different races. So I just want to say congratulations to DACA folks. They can sleep a little easier tonight, and there's still work to be done in terms of our immigration system, in terms of how we treat DACA recipients. We still have kids in cages, which is an issue, and we still have more issues on that. So, okay, I only got 18 more minutes. I gotta get off and go to Roland at 6 o'clock. No. I gotta get off at 5:30 so I can get ready, because I ain't got no eyeliner on, child. I ain't got no blush, and I ain't got nothing on. So I'm gonna need to go ahead and get myself together to be on Roland. But let's talk about these Veepstakes poll, right? Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Okay, before I get to the Veepstakes poll, let me read some of your comments, because I didn't do enough reading comments yesterday, y'all. Let me go ahead and do that. A lot of people are commenting on how great Kamala was on Colbert. That's what triggered Elizabeth with an S. She was very triggered that Colbert would invite the author of the Justice and Policing Act, a landmark legislative package of bills, to have accountability for the police. She was very triggered that Kamala was asked to be on the Colbert Show. Well, she's the author of the bill. She's one of the leaders of the bill. Makes fucking sense to me. I don't understand how people talk about, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And then when somebody turns around and does something, then that's a motherfucking problem too. Make it make sense. But she did do an amazing job talking about it. Some people talk shit, and some people do. Anyways, let me read some of these comments. Robin attended the water justice call. Kamala's done amazing things, in my opinion, in terms of her advocacy for environmental justice, water justice. When she was San Francisco DA, she opened up she created the environmental justice unit to stop companies from dumping in black and brown neighborhoods. Pam is making masks. That's great. Katie Hill defended Matt. That was weird, girl. You should have just sat there and ate your salad, girl. I don't even know why you have to get involved. Let's see. I'm gonna get to the mammoth poll, MJ. Yeah, I already talked about how that's weird. Hi, Dana. B Dizzle. Republicans are crying so much. What they crying about? Are you talking about the whole? Was that a nerve, or is it something else they're crying about? I don't know. They cry about something every day, Jill. Real deal. Tony. Julie, hey. Let's see. When he said hit dog will holler, I lied. Jennifer, yes. Richmond was sitting there so unbothered, wasn't he? He was just like, Hi, Mom. My mom is in the chat. We are doing chicken and waffles this week for our family challenge. Let's see. Leon says, let's talk about all this stuff. Drag the whole bag. That's what I don't understand. Why can't we have a rounded conversation? Mark says, thank you for having my back. She's a coward. I don't know. I don't know if she's a coward or if she's just a person who has an agenda to only try to speak in ways that denigrate Kamala. But, to take care, to not speak in ways or to have a conversation that could actually elucidate some things for some people. But I would very much appreciate having a rounded conversation. I would very much, if she's been tweeting about her the way she's been tweeting about her for the past 8 years, then there's no reason why she shouldn't be able to have a more in-depth conversation. I talk about Kamala all day, every day. I know her record, and I can talk about other people. Noemi. Hi, Chocolatees. If I missed it, I might have missed some of y'all. Let's see. Courtney. Let's see. Let's talk about Warren's police accountability work. What has she done? Because she's been in the Senate since 2013. Has she wrote any books on it? Did somebody say she wrote 10 books? Has she ever written a book on criminal justice reform like Kamala did? See, she didn't want to talk about Warren. All of a sudden, she's not a Warren supporter. She doesn't support her for VP. I don't know who the fuck she supports for VP, but she got a picture with a cutout of Elizabeth Warren talking about she all in. And she seemed quite all in to me. But now all of a sudden she don't support her. Well, you seem to be a good surrogate. You said that she should hire you if she runs for president. That was in 2015. So you've clearly been watching her work very closely. I don't see why you're not equipped to talk about Elizabeth Warren. She's a top contender. You don't want to talk about her? Why? And that's the thing that kills me. It's only rag on the black woman and disqualify her without talking about the alternative, without holding the alternative accountable. Okay, so maybe she's not as perfect, or maybe she didn't do everything, she didn't check every box. But what box did the other person check? Because it's either or. I have still not seen an abolition plan that is detailed and with numbers to prove it'll work. I don't know. I'm not an abolitionist, and I've heard very well reasoned arguments about the depths of what they're actually proposing, that it's not just like get rid of prisons, it's like a whole societal change, and how, you know, we invest in our society and things like that, kind of similar to the defund movement, and talking about reallocating resources, and there's all this research behind it and this, that, and the other. Sounds fine to me. Like I said, it's not my lane. I'm not pushing for that. But I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody's solutions. But I do have a problem when when you rag on a black woman and you're like, well, I'm an abolitionist. But then you support a white woman who ain't an abolitionist, who would maintain the same system. So how the fuck does that make sense? Let's see. This is about her being a black woman, and the progressive left are the same as the right wingness. They are. Even the black progressives. They trip me. I don't call myself a progressive. I used to think I was progressive, but I don't want no parts of that label, child. I don't want no parts of it. Because they just fucking assholes. Kamala did not hurt you. I don't know. I'm really confused where all the animus comes from. Really confused. I didn't see. Cheryl says, I'm still shook about the gratuitous letter Elizabeth sent to Uncle Joe. I don't know anything about it, but it does not surprise me. Somebody said, I need Kenny to release a full song for the video he posted today. All right. Let's talk about Black Millennial says, will Kamala increase the turnout like Stacey? You tell me, Black Millennial. You tell me. Where's your evidence? Anyways, okay, let's talk about, hey Rita, I'm sorry if I missed anybody that's on, and King De La House. Do I say it? I feel like I say that wrong every time. Some y'all crazy on here. Somebody mad said Condola Warren, you 70 years old, girl. That what you gonna tell Biden? You pregnant? Trap him. Anyway. Okay, Black Millennial, maybe you was being funny. I don't know. I don't know. I can't read everything. I don't read the tone exactly. Okay. So the Mammoth poll that came out today, did y'all see it? It was very interesting. I'm gonna use my last 10 minutes. Oh, Kamala's gonna be on MSNBC tonight at 7 p.m. with Joy Reid. I'm sure she will trigger more people Because apparently the only black woman sitting U.S. senator who spearhead landmark legislation where you have actual experts. I have a shady line I can actually insert in there. I'm gonna leave it alone, shit. I'm not a bully. People like Vanita Gupta, survivors, family survivors who are testifying. You've had all these experts. I don't know if anybody's caught the hearings. There have been several House Judiciary hearings. There's even been a Senate Judiciary hearing. Very, very, very informative about how substantive and impactful this Justice and Policing Act would actually be. But it's a problem when that black woman, Senator Kamala Harris, is actually called upon to talk about her bill. Sorry, Elizabeth Warren didn't get the call. Elizabeth Warren didn't lead the charge. Kamala Harris did. Don't be mad at her. She did not hurt you. Kevin asked me, when are you going to be back on Rolling? Tonight, 6 p.m. 6 p.m. every Thursday. All right. Let's talk about this mammoth poll. I got 8 more minutes, but I got to hop off. So, interesting. Y'all know how people, I ain't going to say motherfuckers, people have been at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So, y'all know how people have been, throwing these polls in our faces. Every article, Elizabeth Warren gets millions of them written about. I say millions. Okay. She gets dozens of them written about her, about how she's the number one pick according to all these polls. Well, the polls are starting to shift a little bit. I've said before, I don't like to live by the polls. I don't like to die by the polls. That's always been my position. So my rationale has never, ever, ever, be clear, has never been about polling when it comes to Kamala Harris. My rationale has always been about competency, particularly cultural competency and qualifications. And the fact that we fucking earned this seat. That's always been what my thing is. But I do think it's interesting that the polls have seemed to shift. Now, Mammoth Polling is a very credible polling organization, and it shows Kamala Harris with a decisive lead on voter preferences. Now, again, be clear. I don't like to live by the polls. I don't like to die by the polls. So, I mean, I don't like to emphasize it too much because the polls can shift for somebody to come out with a whole nother ass poll. And then we got to be like, well, look at this poll, look at that poll, whatever, okay? So, I don't like to get into that. But I just do think that it's interesting. It has some very, very interesting tidbits in there. I'm going to go on ahead down the list and read the Mammoth poll results if you haven't caught it yet. It says 28% for Kamala Harris. 15 points below her at 13% is Elizabeth Warren. Amy Klobuchar is at 12%, Stacey Abrams at 10%, Val Demings at 7%, 3%, Michelle Obama 2%, Ambassador Rice, Keisha Lance Bottoms, and Gretchen Whitmer. So those are the percentages. But what I found especially interesting about it was that 63% of the voters, or people polled rather, said that they would be very satisfied with a black woman being picked for VP. Only 40% said the same if a white woman was picked for VP. And over half of the Democratic voters stated that they want to see a woman of color selected as VP. How long are people that have Black Lives Matter in their bios and people that claim to be so woke, people that say, what do they say? Oh, uplift black women, uplift black people. Share the mic. At what point are we going to acknowledge that a majority of the Democratic electorate thinks and values, as they should, that we need a black woman, and between they had Black, Latina, and other different demographic breakouts, black woman had the highest. Imagine that! Black woman had the highest percentage of people that people would be very satisfied with. Imagine that. How long are we going to not acknowledge that? How long are we going to continue down this path where we, and not we, but people act like black is deficient when a majority of the electorate is saying, hey, we would be happy and we think it should be a woman of color. Somebody says, listen to black woman too. That's what they love to say. Listen to black woman. They like to say, vote for black woman. Oh no, vote not vote for. They like to say vote like. Vote like black woman. How about vote for? But and a lot of people are saying, Adrian says it perfectly. We all know those polls reflect name recognition, but now Kamala's everywhere. Isn't it interesting how, despite the caricatures that they've painted of Kamala, like she's a persecutor? That's what Elizabeth would have said. Elizabeth would have said that Kamala is a persecutor. A persecutor? Do you're a smart woman. You know what a persecutor means. Where is your evidence for that? That's absurd. But you don't want to talk about her record. Her record. If she's a persecutor, then explain to me how you only want to talk about her not prosecuting cases, which, by the way, she didn't have jurisdiction over. You don't want to talk about that, but she's a whole ass persecutor. If I believe somebody was a persecutor, I would want to have that conversation. If somebody said, well, let's have a conversation about them being a persecutor, and I would be like, hell yeah, let's have a conversation, bitch. I want to motherfucking tell you all about how this bitch is a goddamn persecutor. I would be all over that shit. That's how you feel? Y'all tripping out there. But despite that boogeyman character that they like to put of Kamala Harris, when people see her, they like her. Imagine that. She's very charming. I've met Kamala Harris. I have more than a cardboard pic of Kamala Harris. I've had a face-to-face conversation with her. She's very, very, very charming. Very charming, very intelligent, very bright, very authentic, very sincere, very much for the people, very much for black people. I know this firsthand. I'm a fan. I've been a fan for years, but I've also seen her up close. Not a cardboard, not a cardboard cutout, sis. Can you vouch for your girl like that? Have you met her? Maybe you have. Maybe that's why you like her so much. Well, you should talk about her then. If you've met her, if you've had an up close conversation with her, then you should definitely be very willing to talk about her. And I can talk about my girl. You talk about your girl that you've met and had very in depth conversations with. And I'll talk about my girl. Catch that. Dana says, also, she doesn't talk about it, but Kamala's very close with PBO and Michelle go back years. Cody says, always telling people that Kamala feels just like a friend. The aura is everything. You know what? I've been very fortunate to be in a room, the White House, more specifically, with President Obama and the incredible Michelle Obama, Mrs. Michelle Obama, First Lady Forever Flotus Obama. And they have these really incredible auras around them. They're magnetic. Michelle, I just absolutely love and adore her. And when she's very connected with people, and she's in tune with what's going on. She's looking around, she's connecting people, she's making eye contact with people, as this was as President Obama was speaking. And I took some pictures. But one thing you'll notice is if you look at a picture with First Lady Michelle Obama, you'll see everybody around her just has this like this like like amazing joy on them. And President Obama, they have this awestruckness about him. He's so cool. He's very, very cool. And the first time that I saw Kamala in person, I didn't get to meet her at that time, but it was a couple years ago. And when she walked in the room, I was like, that's presidential energy. She has that it factor. And when you talk to Kamala, she's very engaged. Now, it's also very interesting that she's engaged, but if you fucking up around her, she also take note of that too. It's very interesting how she has that multitasking talent. But she has really incredible energy. And she's very, like I said, very, very sincere. So I mean, I've been around Elizabeth Warren. I haven't gotten a chance to meet her personally, but I've seen her in person, and many other people. And I would say, in terms of just magnetism and charisma, and really compelling presence, definitely would be, President Obama, Michelle Obama, Mrs. Michelle Obama, and Senator Kamala Harris. Those would be my top three. And I've met a lot of very, very incredible people. Very incredible people. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just giving you some context. Kim caught that. Some of y'all catching some of this too. I know. Leon says it's time for me to go. Yeah, it's time for me to go. I'm just gonna scroll down to the bottom. Before if there's something there about. I just want y'all to know I'm reading your comments. I'm not calling them out. Tina says, I love that she's fearlessly black and Indian. Few can do what she's done. And let's just honor that. Can we not honor that? Why you gotta rag on a motherfucking black woman and Indian woman? To your point, Tina. That's made history time and time again and try to act like she ain't shit. I don't think that's asking too much. Somebody said I heard from an academic friend that Miss Millie was a great mentor. You know, these academics, these intelligentsias, they definitely have that Ivy League talented 10th energy. Kamala got the Bill Clinton energy and personal attention gift. So I haven't been up close with Bill Clinton. I've been at events. I've been at an event. Let me not exaggerate. I've been at an event with Bill Clinton, but I wasn't moved like that, but it wasn't a personal event. It was just like a rally. Um somebody black women. Okay, Kamala has presidential energy. What about Elizabeth? I wasn't impressed with her. She has the same mannerisms that you see on TV. There's nothing you're missing. If you're impressed with Elizabeth Warren on TV, then I guess you'd be impressed with her in real life. There's no like additional oomph that I've seen. Just my opinion. All right. Gotta go, y'all. Gotta go. But just want to say thank y'all for tuning in. Catch me in 25 minutes now on rolling. I got enough time to put on some eyeliner, child, and refresh this lipstick, and then I'll be back. So I will holler at y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow on Juneteenth. Bye, y'all.